Okay, today I'm going to be giving a short demonstration on how to draw in 1, 2, and 3-point linear perspective. And we're going to start off with 1-point perspective. So for 1-point perspective, you're going to need to start with your horizon line, and then you're going to draw 1 point on your line. This is what we call your vanishing point, and in 1-point perspective, you will just have one vanishing point. So next I'm going to use my ruler to draw a square, and I'm going to line my edges up with the edge of my paper. That's the easiest way to make a square that is pretty straight. And then I'm going to connect every corner of my square to the vanishing point to create the sides and the top. I also need to draw in the edges at the back of the square, and so I'm just going to use my ruler and make it parallel to the front edges of my shape. And then when that's all finished, you can erase the lines and your cube is complete. So now you can watch me doing the same process over again. This time my square is above the horizon line, and either way, above or below, you'll just use the same process. So next we're going to take a look at the creation of a 2-point perspective drawing. So for 2-point perspective, you're going to start in a similar way with your horizon line, only this time you're going to have 2 vanishing points on the horizon line. And this time, instead of drawing the entire shape to begin with, I'm just going to draw one edge, or one of the 4 corners of my cube. So I made that front edge slightly larger than the actual shape that I want to create, and you'll see why in a moment. And I'm just going to use my 2 vanishing points to connect to the top and bottom of that front edge. And I'm also going to be creating the bottom of my shape. So you can see that's why I left that front edge a little bit longer, so that I can use that intersection to mark out where the rear edge will be and make those top lines accurate. So you can see I'm doing that again right here. The lines that are forming the top of my cube are going to crisscross in line with that vertical line right there, that vertical edge. So now I'm just going to, in the same technique that we did with the 1-point perspective, I'm going to line my ruler up with the edge of my paper, or parallel to that front edge that I drew, and I'm just going to connect those sides of the boxes with the top or the bottom of the square, and then erase all my lines to create a nice 2-point perspective cube. Okay, so up next we're going to be looking at how to draw a 3-point perspective. And this one can look a little bit more complicated, but once you've done 2-point perspective, it's really just one extra step. So we're going to start with our horizon line with 2 points on it, but we also need a vertical line for a 3-point perspective, and that can be anywhere along the horizon line. I'm going to do mine in the middle, and I'm going to have a vanishing point at the bottom of that vertical line as well. And from there, I'm going to treat my vertical line very much the way that I did in 2-point perspective with that front edge. So I'm going to connect my vertical line to the vanishing points on both sides. And I'm going to do the same way as 2-point perspective to draw the top, where I line up that intersection on the vertical line with the 2 lines that recede on the top right and the top left. So I'm using that vertical line to help me create that top of my cube in a way that is straight and accurate. And at this point, my last step is to connect the top corners to that bottom vanishing point to create those vertical edges of my cube. And so now you can see the whole shape is in 3-point perspective. It looks like I'm a bird flying above this box or maybe this building. And when you erase all those lines, it just creates that interesting vantage point. So I'm going to show you another example now, where what it looks like if you are below the shape looking up. And you can do your shape above the horizon line or below the horizon line. Either way is totally fine. And that's it for linear perspective. Any of these options can be used to create the illusion of space or depth in your drawing. And please let me know if you have any questions.